I like President Xi very much. I've always liked him. We always had a very good relationship. It was very strained with COVID coming out of Wuhan. Obviously, that strained it. I'm sure it strained it with a lot of people, but that strained our relationship. But we always had a great relationship, I would say, and we look forward to doing very well with China and getting along with China. Hopefully China can help us stop the war with, in particular, Russia, Ukraine. And they have a great deal of power over that situation.
As the war in Ukraine grinds on, two major developments are raising global concerns. China's evolving role in supporting Russia and a high-stakes phone call between the US President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Trump has said he had a lengthy and highly productive phone call with Putin on February 12, in which the leaders agreed to begin negotiations to end the war in Ukraine. In a post on his Truth Social platform, Trump said, and I quote, that he and the Russian president had agreed to have our respective teams start negotiations immediately. Later, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky also said he had spoken with Trump about a lasting, reliable peace. For the world, this watershed highlighted Trump's America First ideology. However, there were two geopolitical thunderclaps.
The United States does not believe that NATO membership for Ukraine is a realistic outcome of a negotiated settlement. Instead, any security guarantee must be backed by capable European and non-European troops. If these troops are deployed as peacekeepers to Ukraine at any point, they should be deployed as part of a non-NATO mission, and they should not be covered under Article 5. There also must be robust international oversight of the line of contact. To be clear, as part of any security guarantee, there will not be U.S. troops deployed to Ukraine.
First, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth went to Brussels and told European allies in a stunning bluntness that it was unrealistic to expect Ukraine to return to its pre-2014 borders, downplaying the prospect of Ukraine joining NATO. Second, China has floated a proposal to hold a summit between the Russian president and US president to help end the Ukraine war. As per Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson, Beijing is happy to see Russia and the United States strengthen communication on a series of international issues. Amid the relentless Russia-Ukraine war, China's role still remains a mystery. Beijing has publicly called for peace but never condemned Moscow. While the West choked Russia with sanctions, China quietly boosted trade. Russian oil imports to China have surged, and payment settlements in yuan are skyrocketing. However, Trump always wanted Xi Jinping to be part of a plan in ceasefire negotiations between Ukraine and Russia. Trump has long criticized US military aid to Ukraine, arguing that America should not bear the financial and military burden of the war. And by shifting responsibility to China, he positioned the US as an observer rather than an active participant. Unlike Western nations, Beijing has a functional relationship with both Moscow and Kiev, making it a potential mediator. By advocating for China to step in, Trump has managed to sideline Western institutions like NATO, the EU, and the UN, reshaping the negotiation framework. As per several reports, Trump's behavior has caused panic. But the question still remains: would Russia listen to China, or Trump's bet on China is going to backfire? The Russian invasion of Ukraine took China by surprise. On the one hand, Beijing immediately came out in support of Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity and the war's swift resolution. On the other hand, China condemned Western sanctions against Russia, blaming the Ukraine war on NATO expansion. During a phone call with Chinese President Xi Jinping right before the oath-taking ceremony, Trump pressed Beijing to try to reach a settlement on the ongoing war. Trump knows that his attempt to join forces with China will spark unease because Putin has relied heavily on a strategic partnership with Xi to dilute the impact of Western sanctions on Russia's economy. According to Geopolitica, China is fully exploiting the Russia-Ukraine crisis to warn the United States of its threats, a classic example of killing the chicken to scare the monkey. Zelensky was at the center of everything the Biden administration did in the war. However, now things have changed. Donald Trump is back. He made his first call to Putin, then emphasized on China's role to end the war, keeping Zelensky out of the loop. According to the Daily Telegraph, there are also fears that Europe is also being frozen out of the negotiations. Amid this tug of war, let us not forget one key player, the North Korea. China is not happy that the war is dragging on and remains concerned over Russia's decision to insert thousands of North Korean troops into the conflict. There is little doubt that Beijing is not thrilled with the mutual defense treaty between Moscow and Pyongyang. For the viewers, it is to be highlighted that Pyongyang is Beijing's sole official military ally. Although both Moscow and Pyongyang have neither confirmed nor denied this action outright, the military alignment between both has raised significant concerns in China. In early October 2024, Chinese President Xi Jinping omitted the traditional reference to North Korea as a friendly neighboring state in reply to a congratulatory message from Kim Jong-un on the occasion of the 75th anniversary of the People's Republic of China. So an attack on Pyongyang, if it becomes a legitimate target for fueling Russia with ammo and soldiers, wouldn't just rattle the Korean peninsula. It could drag China straight into the battlefield. Bound by its defense treaty, Beijing wouldn't have the luxury of staying on the sidelines. It would be compelled to deploy forces and unleash every necessary means to shield North Korea, setting the stage for a seismic global showdown. So, while China is unlikely to break with Russia over the bloody conflict, Beijing is focused on projecting the image of a responsible, non-aligned great power desiring friendship with all countries. For Xi, the stakes couldn't be higher. Jeopardizing this alliance would mean unraveling a partnership he has meticulously forged, one that serves as a cornerstone of his grand strategy to counter Western dominance and reshape the global order on Beijing's terms. For Washington right now, any negotiating table where China commands a central seat, one must not forget that she has a prominent seat only for Putin, not Trump, has a staunch partner. A single misstep by Trump could not only alienate European allies but also force a settlement that Ukraine may never accept, reshaping the balance of power on China's terms. In Trump's view, she is a power broker with influence over Putin. But seasoned China watchers will understand that it's not that simple, because in this high-stakes game, Beijing plays by its own rules.
What the changes in India's population and the differential growth rates.
This city has emerged.
We have a very special guest on the record.
The interview.
The role that the US side played at that point of time.
पूरी दुनिया की नजर
Assume my phone is tapped, I can probably say hello to Mr. Modi.
आपके भारत पर है.
Episode of Know Your Candidate.
The rising confidence of India under Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Communist China is the greatest threat.
There will come a day that we will see far more radical extremist.
I'm still a little perplexed by why we.
Your daily dose of news from India and across the world. Cutting edge views and analysis. Tune into HT videos. Click on the bell icon to subscribe.